Today in this presentation, we're going to be looking at privacy and security, how we can be safer on the internet. By the end of this, we want to have a few key takeaways of how to be safer on the internet and in everyday life. How many apps a day do you let track you on your phone all day? How many security cameras do you pass by every single day that you don't even think about? In this, we're going to take these questions paired with the objectives of privacy risks in the modern day, safety versus stalking, inputs and outputs, as well as key and common takeaways to come to a good conclusion of how to be safer in everyday life. First, to do this, we need to understand AI. AI is trained based on human data, and we need to understand how it's trained on human data in order to get a full understanding of how to be safer on the internet. First, with AI, they use facial recognition. Facial recognition is a digital image of a face to identify a person. The technology is becoming so good that facial recognition can single you out in a crowd. More details of this. Facial recognition saves data of a face the first time it sees it. Once it sees it for the first time, it is then stored away. It can alert the correct people when the face is recognized in any crowd that has been set up through any security camera. Where we want to be safer with this is we have to make sure that this technology doesn't get in the wrong people's hands, or that's when it can become a stalking issue instead of a safety issue. Now we're going to have a group activity. Here in a second, after I finish asking the question, I would like you to pause the video. Please group up and list 2 to 3 pros and cons of AI facial recognition, and then we will rejoin. Thank you. Now we will be looking at individual work. I will ask you to pause the video again here in a second. I would like you to bring out a piece of paper, draw this chart, and fill it out on your own. Benefits of facial recognition technology and privacy risks of facial recognition technology. You can pause the video and begin to work. Next, we want to look at AI training. AI is trained on data. Algorithms are put into an AI system, which then allows it to perform what you want it to perform. How does this affect our privacy and security? How can we wrap our minds around something so big and make it more basic for us to understand? Essentially, the data in our security takes our eyes, eyebrows, nose, mouth, and nostrils to collect data on a human face. It stores this data one time and now it has it forever. This allows cameras to have instant recognition, which can alert any system that has been paired to the camera and the AI system. The privacy issues that we deal with this is any place we walk in can recognize us almost immediately. As humans, we are left to trust that the data and cameras are being used for the right reasons. In conclusion with this, we can conclude that we have the right to feel uncomfortable. And if you ever feel uncomfortable in a situation with a camera, you need to make sure that you alert somebody. Further looking at privacy issues and how AI is trained and used with facial recognition and how we need to be safe with privacy and security, we can look at inputs and outputs. What is an input? An input is the data an AI application uses to learn or perform a task. What is an output? The final result or creation of an AI system based on what it was asked to do using its existing inputs. AI is trained on inputs and outputs when it comes to data. For example, oftentimes you might say that you think the government is listening to you because you have a conversation with your friends and then what you're talking about shows up on your phone. In reality, odds are you were probably searching the internet, reading an article, or spending a longer time on social media looking at that specific thing that you thought the government was listening to. Doing this is giving AI an input. So in turn, it gives you an output, which then makes you think that you're being listened to. Safety versus stalking. How do we know if we are being stalked or if we are in a safe environment? And then on this slide, if you want to pause and write it down, you can see the definition of stalking. First, we want to look at the definition of privacy. The definition of privacy is protection from being observed or tracked by others, including the government, companies, public, individuals, or groups. Stalking. If you're ever in a situation where you feel that a security camera is directly invading your privacy, or you are getting notifications on your technology that your location is on and you're being tracked, you need to stop and call the proper people. What should I avoid? Letting apps track you all the time. I understand that some apps you have to be able to get tracked to use, but you need to be able to allow that app to track you while using the app, not all day. Repeated phone calls, random consistent messages, unknown emails, and damage to property are other things that you need to avoid, and if are happening, need to contact the proper authorities. What should I do to be safe and secure? Strong passwords, update software, two-factor authentication, back up your personal data, and be careful about what Wi-Fi routers you join. Key takeaways. Pause this video and write down 3 to 4 key takeaways from this presentation. What did you include? If you included safety versus stalking, facial recognition, updating software, and inputs and outputs, you took away all the correct things and you are well on your way to being safer and secure in an upcoming technological environment. Thank you for listening. I hope you learned a thing or two that will keep you safer when